guys, welcome to Fort Reads. Tonight we're going to be reading The Lonely Giant. Big the Giant was always playing tricks on people. Sometimes he would stamp on the ground to make an earthquake. At other times he would cough and make it sound like thunder. His favorite trick, though, was to disguise his nose as a hill. Then, as people climbed up to the top, he'd sneeze and tumble them all down again. He always laughed when his tricks worked, but deep down, Big was very unhappy, for he was a lonely giant. One day he saw an old woman walking through the wood. He decided to do his thunder cough so that she would think it was about to rain and run home to take in the washing. But instead, she turned on him. "So you think you could give me a fright, eh? Well, I don't want one, thank you." Big was taken aback. After all, she was so small and he was so, big. "I can give you something that you want, though," she said. "Happiness. I bet I can make you happy within a day." "What do you bet?" asked Big, who was becoming very interested. "If I make you happy, you must promise to never play another trick on anyone," answered the old woman. "What if you don't make me happy?" he said. "Then I will be your servant forever." Big could never resist a challenge, especially one where he was sure to win, because even if by some chance she did make him happy, he just wouldn't admit it. So he said, "All right." "Good. Let's have a drink to settle it," said the old woman, handing Big a bottle. "What have I got to lose?" said Big, gulping down the liquid in one swallow. However, no sooner had he finished, there was a big flash. Big started to feel his head spin. Then he started to shrink. He got smaller and smaller until he was staring up at the old woman, for he was, in fact, child-sized. "You tricked me!" "Don't worry, the magic only lasts for a day," replied the woman. "After that, you will turn back into a giant again." And then she turned and walked away. Big walked into the town. When he was a giant, it only used to take him 10 strides, but now it took him 10 minutes. With each step, he got more and more sulky and miserable. In the town, he recognized some children he had scared the week before. "I'll shake them up a bit," he thought. Forgetting he was now the same size as them, he stamped on the ground to make them think it was an earthquake. But as he was small, nothing happened, and the children just looked at him in amusement. "Look at that boy, he's doing a dance," said one child. They all loved dancing, so they immediately joined in, jumping and stamping next to Big. Next, Big thought he'd frighten them, so he opened his mouth wide and roared with all his might. "Look, he's being a lion," the children said. "Let's do it too." And so they did. Finally, Big shouted, "Listen, I'm a giant!" The children laughed wildly. "First he dances, then he pretends he's a lion, and now he tells jokes." Big had never felt so embarrassed or angry. He stomped off, but they came after him. "Don't go, stay with us, you're fun!" Big decided that he would. He thought, after all, I might find some new ways to frighten them when I'm a giant again. They played lots of games all afternoon. Then Big went home with one of them for tea. When the family found out that he had nowhere to sleep, they let him have the spare bedroom. It had been the most comfortable bed Big had ever slept in. The next morning, he taught the children some games that he used to play when he was a young giant. He was having a lovely day, the sort you hope will never end. In the afternoon, however, during a game of hide-and-seek in the wood, Big came across the old woman and remembered it was time to turn back into a giant. Before the woman could say anything, Big cried, "You win! I'm happy, very happy. Please don't make me change back into a giant." Then he fell to his knees, sobbing loudly. Smiling, the old woman reached into her pocket. "This will keep you small," she said, giving him another bottle. "Now, I must get my washing in. It looks like it may be a thunderstorm." "Thank you," Big shouted after her and took the stopper from the bottle. The other children arrived just as Big was finishing the drink. Then they went into town for tea, Big grinning from ear to ear. "By the way, we haven't asked you what your name is," said one children. Big thought for a minute. "It's Tiny," he said. That was a fast story. Good night, guys.